Hey everyone, hopefully everybody can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm not going to be on camera today. Uh, we just got a lot going on right now. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let me drop a rabbit. Let me know if you can hear me because the chat is frozen and I don't know if everybody can hear me. Hold up. Did it just freeze? Oh, Lord have mercy. Hold up. Now I got to check the other device. I don't see the chat moving anymore. What is going on? All right. You hear me? Okay, you hear me. You hear me. I hear me too. All right. Uh you did it. Okay, good. Everybody hears me. I don't know, there was a delay. I'm like, is everybody here? So yeah, I am starting a little bit early because it's Friday and I got a lot going on right now. The oldest rabbit child broke his I think it's called the radius. Yeah, that bone in the arm, his forearm, last weekend. And he was rushed to the hospital, so we had an appointment this week and we found out that he's going to need surgery. So I am going to be taking him to get surgery tomorrow morning. So it'll be a very busy morning tomorrow. And then yesterday the headphones just gave out. I was upset because um damn, yeah, freaking headphones are expensive, and I don't usually use like I would love to use one of those really cool, Rode, I think they're called Rode, Shure mics, really, really cool mics, but I need a mic that is also what is it called? Excuse me. Mic noise canceling. So, because I got a lot of stuff going on in the background here, and I don't need everybody hearing what's going on in the background. I just need you guys to hear my voice. So I had to, buy the kind of headphones that you use like in Zoom meetings. So I did. I broke the poor little brink yesterday, and we got at least $253. The reason it's $253 is because we had to get, of course, the protection plan on it. I was so upset with the other headphones because they were a birthday gift. And I'm one of those people that when I get a birthday gift, I take care of my stuff. So it was very, like, it wasn't like something that I did. It's just they don't last a year. It did not even last a year. So I'm so sad about it. But the biggest thing, no worries, Jamie. Thank you. Thank you guys for the prayers. He's just at that age. He's a teenager. He's at that age where he thinks that nothing can stop him. You know what I'm saying? Will the protection plan cover it? I don't know. Listen, I tried, but when they were purchased, the headphones, the ones that I had before, um, were actually a gift. So I don't think that they purchased a protection plan when I got the gift, which is very sad because I actually really like those headphones. But when I went live to talk about Pedro Argote, you could like the headphones just gave out, so I had to get new headphones. I couldn't even, you know. But thank you. Oh, girl, you put a lot of hard work on that. I did felony. I mean, I did do a lot of lives, a lot of lives. I do have a team. Yes, yes, he's my first. And he is a pain in the ass, no joke. All pun intended, all of it. It's just he's too much. But yeah, he really broke his what is it called? The radius, and so we gotta get that fixed. So tomorrow morning, keep us in your prayers, and whatnot. And yeah, so I had to go to Best Buy yesterday and get um the cool headphones. I put it on the Discord so everybody knows what kind of headphones I'm using. But I'll be, I'll probably be doing some lives, hopefully with video, maybe tomorrow or something. Just I'm waiting for things to kind of settle down because there's just too much going on right now. I'm like, I don't feel like showing my face today. Shout out to everybody. Talia says, I'm so glad you're covering this story. Well, Nonsense is also covering this. Shout out to Nonsense in the chat. Yes, thank you, Shauna. The ulna, it almost like I can't even, I'm going in there at the doctor and they're explaining this to me, and all I'm hearing is a surgery. And I'm like, damn. I guess it's the older you get, the harder it is. Like, for bones, sometimes typically requires surgery when you break something. I don't think I've ever, I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever really broken, oh, I take that back. Maybe I have, but I've never really had surgery for a broken bone or anything like that. Yeah, nonsense. This is a very frightening story. So we're going to get right into it. Of course, I'm going to give credit to the East Idaho News, Mr. Nate, who broke this story, and it's now picking up. I'm hearing the Daily Beast is talking about it. I'm hearing other sites are talking about this. This is very scary to me, right? Number one, I have a son that's pretty close in Blaze's age. Is Blaze 16? I think it just turned 16. But let me start by just kind of hitting the article first, okay? And shout out to all the members. Thank you guys. If you guys can do me a favor and just hit the like button, please and thank you. Have you ever tried using Crisp to cancel out the background? No, Braden, tell me more. What is that? You gotta hit me up and let me know. Um, Pebbles. Well, I just want to know what's up with Idaho and all these cults. I mean, I understand Utah because I actually lived there for a couple of years ago. But I'm just kind of curious to know about like what's going on with Idaho. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay, so 16 and we'll be 17 on November the 8th. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. All right. So, oh, she did. Ooh, just the idea of a broken bone. I just can't, yo. I think I would be the biggest baby. I've had a lot of surgeries, but a broken bone is something else. Oh man, Beach. Wow. Okay. All right. All right, all right, all right. Let's start. So let me start by the article. And for those that know about this story, if you guys can just, share it, of course, hit the like. It helps in the algorithm. I really like that Nate put this little family tree because when I was watching the interviews with Ben, the father, and even Braden, Abby's husband, none of this really made sense to me because I was like, I guess I just need I need to, I'm a genealogy, what is it? Genogram, not genealogy, genogram type of person. I kind of need a family tree to understand this. This is how I felt when we were talking about Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. Like you kind of need a really good map to understand the family dynamics of this. So I appreciate that they put this up. So the one in the red, okay, is blood relation. You have Blaze right here, who is the missing young man. You have Spring, who is his mother, who's also gone. And then you have Brooke, Spring's brother. And I believe, nonsense, correct me if I'm wrong, but all three of them are, and Abby. So all three of them are not around. They left, right? They're missing. Really, the one that's missing is Blaze because he is the teenager, okay? And allegedly is being held, you know, is being held. Okay. And I think that that is something that we need to kind of maybe bring awareness to and let everybody know what's going on. If you guys spot these individuals, please report, call the police. This is a family out of Arizona. So, an Arizona family is desperate for their loved ones to return home after they abruptly bought thousands of dollars of survival gear, boarded a plane for Idaho, and cut off all communication because they believe the second coming of Jesus Christ is imminent. At the center of the situation is 16-year-old Blaze, who has been reported missing to law enforcement and may be in danger according to his father Ben. Okay, so this is Ben right here, and we'll see that interview with Ben and Nate. Okay, and again, we give credit to the East Idaho News for breaking this story and always being. I love a lot of the channel because they do a lot of great coverage and stories, and totally love what they cover. Very much factual and great interviews that they have out there. So they see him as a Davidic servant. So that stands for chosen individual who plays a significant role in the Savior's return. They feel they needed to take him to an undisclosed location where he would receive his calling and understand his role in the second coming. Ben tells EastIdahoNews.com, I fear for his safety, especially if my son is contentious, rebellious, or belligerent. I fear that my brother in law would restrain him or would do something that would incapacitate him. Blaze is with his mother, Spring, his 23-year-old sister, Abby, and his uncle, Brooke Hale, who is Spring's brother. Nobody in the family knows where they are, and none of them have been heard from since Monday. Wow. Although the boy is legally required to return to his father. So, yeah, let me see what you guys are saying. Thank you. This all has a lot to do with the whole Chad Daybell, and a lot of this I was like, man, I really don't feel like I'm all the way educated. Aw, thank you. Look at Wim. Thank you for the 110. Now it's a little less. Thank you, Wim. Oh man, Wim, I'm sending you a hug and a kiss all the way over here. Thank you so much for your for your support. I'm gonna put it towards the making up for the headphones. Thank you. Wim, I'm telling you, I was crying because I was like, I don't want to buy new headphones, but thank you. It's stuff like that that really just brings a smile to my face. This Julie Rowe character is somebody that I keep hearing about. And I was like, where have I heard that name before? Oh, so she was actually in the Netflix documentary too. And she's also had connections with Chad Daybell. So all of this is very cultish, okay? Very much Doomsday. All right. I just how do I say this? Like, there's got to be something. I'm trying to, as somebody that worked in social services, I'm trying to figure out why social services, why the laws haven't really caught up to saving children from such situations. Thank you, Chico, for gifting. If you guys received a membership from Chico, please drop a heart. Thank you, Chico. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh man, I have the best supporters, you guys. Thank you. Thank you, women, Chico. You guys are awesome. Yeah, they're saying Canada too. We'll get there. But what I was trying to go at was this is I don't remember out of my time that I was a social worker at CPS or did any type of social work, there was never anything like I can't remember. Maybe there was one or two cases specifically where um there was religious abuse and an investigation, right? And it's crazy because you would think that there would be more awareness to what's going on, what is really out there. And you're absolutely right, generally, Jenny. Some of this has to do with religion being such a very touchy subject. Thank you for saying that. It is. It's a touchy subject. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Chico. And this is really intense because there's so many connections to the Daybell group here in Arizona too. Like this is crazy. So it makes me so sad to think that he's going away for his birthday, says Talia, and not by choice, right? Not by choice. As a social worker, how would you decide if it's an extreme cult or religious freedom? See, Kate, this is why. This is not I'm trying to think back because try to be very careful too, because out of respect for the people that I actually, worked with and all that other stuff, there's only so much. Not that I'm bound by any legal anything. I could talk, but I also don't really like to bring up stuff that I've seen myself. You know what I'm saying? Out of respect for the families. But I will say that when it comes to religious practices, like I'm trying to think, or even traditional practices, cultural practices, this has always been misinterpreted a lot as abuse. However, there are times where, say, like such a situation like this, right, where the child who's we're looking at the ability for the child to self-protect. And this situation right here is pretty extreme, right? If there's a custody issue going on between the parents, you would think that the court would be very much concerned about the 16-year-old or 15-year-old being able to have a voice in the decisions that are being made here, right? So keep that in mind. Oh my God, Darby. Keep that in mind. Hold up, Darby. I'm gonna shout you out here in a minute. Keep that in mind that I feel like some of this also lands on the court and he's 16. Does he feel safe around his mom? And if he doesn't feel safe around his mom and his practices and beliefs, where or who can he talk to? Right now, they disappeared. It's not like they're asking them where to go. It's a lot of gray area. And I love that you said that, Jenny, because that is the social work CPS verbiage. What is the gray area? Okay. What is the gray area? If Ben, dad, is saying he's concerned for the safety of his son and that she took money and the intent was to isolate him from the other parent, which very much loves his son, I would be very concerned. I would be concerned for all of them. But this is a very gray area situation. And Kate, you asked a perfectly great question that I don't even think I have a straight answer for. Every case is a little bit different. I will say that. Darby, thank you for the new headphone fund. Thank you, thank you. It's a lot of major red flags for sure. Oh man, thank you, just because. Thank you, thank you. All right, let me keep reading. So, fascination with the second coming, and what is this about the fascination with the second coming? What is this about the second coming? Like, dude, back when I still remember the whole Hell's Gate. Y'all remember that? Or not Hell's Gate, Heaven's Gate. The guy that with the doom, that was another doomsday type of cult where, they all poisoned each other, and they felt because Comet Hell Bob was coming that they all had to, like, basically kill themselves, and then they would meet their maker, or they would fly up the sky and meet with somebody else. Hell Bob, yeah. I remember that comment because when I was a kid, my neighbor had a really, really, really cool telescope, and I was able to see it. And it was the first time I ever saw a comet, and I thought it was the craziest thing. But meanwhile, people were actually you know, believing that the world was going to end. So yeah, unpopular opinion. I'm not saying that Jody did what Jody did was okay, but I personally believe that she experienced religious abuse from Travis Alexander. I have a pretty good understanding of how this ish works. Jamie, are you talking about? You said Travis Alexander. You talking about Jody Arias from the lady that killed the boyfriend? That one? And he was like LDS. Let me know. I think that's the case you're referencing. Yeah, thankfully the court sided with the father and the concerns he rose. Right. It's a lot. And that is the first cult to actually use the internet. Right, Pebbles? Heaven's Gate was the first cult that really used the internet. Yo, the website is still up. For those that, like, I remember one time I was listening to a great podcast and was there, and I was like, yeah, this is so crazy that this website is still functioning. You guys know that, right? Cults do doomsday because it makes people scared and complain. Ooh, cheeks. Yeah. Yeah, Pebbles, check it out. You got to check it out. Type in the website and it'll come up. Yes, the website is still up. We could pull it up after I'm done here, but all right. Let's keep going. Okay. Um Ben says his wife, Spring, became interested in end of days religious topics in 2015. Doesn't it always like happen that way? Somebody gets really concerned or something happens and then they kind of go in the deep end. I have some family relatives that are like that. I hate to say that, but then they get really extreme. And then it's like no coming back after that. The couple regularly attended the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter day Saints, and she gradually became obsessed with authors who wrote about the second coming, according to Ben. Spring began participating in energy healing sessions, and Ben became concerned. This whole like energy healing, what is it? Scientology auditing, uh and it's crazy because I'm Catholic, right? And I am not, how do I say this? Like, I wouldn't say that I'm like a hardcore Catholic. I love the fact that part of my Catholicism has to do with my traditions and stuff like that, but I've always rebelled. So I always find myself arguing with the priests more than complying with this day you must do this. Is that crazy? But yeah, this is interesting, right? So she became obsessed with these authors. I requested we go in and talk to our, what is it, existential leader. Ooh, baby bunny is mad. Hold up, y'all. She is mad. The bishop essentially told her that she needed to stop if she wanted the marriage to survive. So the bishop telling her, like, stop your ish if you want this marriage to survive. The church general handbook discourages members from participating in miraculous or supernatural healings from individuals or groups that claim to have special methods of accessing healing powers outside of the prayer, improperly performing priesthood blessings. These practices are often referred to as energy healings. That's interesting because the Catholic Church also speaks against that too. Spring took a step back, but not for long. She started to claim that she was having dreams. Okay. And I'm a pretty spiritual person, right? So I always kind of have to like sit down and think about this right here. I'm very spiritual and I take into account the stuff that's happening and whatnot, but I don't let it like overtake me, right? It's not going to overtake all of this. So how do you know that something is from say God versus a distraction or maybe something that's evil? How do you differentiate from those things? Nonsense says there are not typical LDS beliefs that are practicing either. It's an offshoot of typical LDS beliefs and a contradiction of the Book of the Mormon teaching. Interesting. Interesting. Uh, uh, uh. Hey there, Taurus. How are you? Um, yeah, yeah. Let me see what you guys are saying. Despite all the scientific research and evidence proving otherwise, there still exists some extreme cults that actually believe that there are somehow born more equal than others. More, ooh, this is interesting comment. Extreme cults that actually believe that they are somehow born more equal than others, nebulous, more deserving, more of like they're better than. I would agree with that. Like I feel like that's such a good point. The ideals that come up a lot when we discuss Idaho issues, right? You're Catholic too, so yeah, you feel it, right? So it's like for me, I always like I all right, I'll claim that that I'm Catholic, but I will challenge everything that is being said, and not in a like a rebellious way, but as somebody that because I think God made us that way, right? If you believe in God, you have to believe that you are like in his image, and if he made you a little bit rebellious or he made you to you know question something, yeah, dude, like I think that that's part of being in God's image. You are that person. I truly feel a lot of sectors use religion as a way to control people. Yep. Prime example, this cult we're discussing right now. I agree. And then there's people out there, and I listen, I would be very careful, okay? Because I see it. I don't know if sometimes it, or I'm gonna call this creator out. And there's other creators like him too. What the hell is that one with the who starts the super chat train? The super chat. Thank you so much. You're going to heaven if you did. Wim, you're going to heaven. Who else? Darby, you're going to heaven. Who else donated? Chico, you gifted 5 memberships. You're going to heaven. You're on a super chat train. All of you guys are going to heaven. So they use God as a weapon to try to yeah, that's his name, little Tyler Feller. That to me, that is the most dangerous thing that you can do. But I also see a lot of creators here use religion as a form to go after other creators or try to what's the word? Try to allow allow themselves not the super chat train to heaven. Woohoo! Jenny, sorry, you ain't there yet. Shout out to Jenny. But you could be the member heaven train. There you go. All the greens are the member heaven train. It is sacrilegious. I like that you said that. This is why I always kind of feel a little something about that. You have creators here that also decide to expose under the name of God. You know what I'm saying? And that shit is just disgusting to me. And they weaponize God, or they do some bullshit online and then they use God as if like, well, God is, he forgives everything. And I'm like, girl, like, or boy, whatever. If you're reading the Bible that way, then I guess all is forgiven and you're good. and we should all drink the Kool-Aid, right? Right? We're fine, right? Degrading others, right? I hate that shit because society already degrades people, right? Our family systems, depending on the kind of family unit you come from, it could be degrading. You're not this, you're not that, your weight is not this, social media, all this. There's a lot of shit that degrades us. I don't think God made us that way, right? So it's like when I hear somebody degrade or somebody use, like, say, a super chat to say you're getting on the super chat train and we're closer to our super chat goal, I'm like, damn, like, okay, so then what if you don't reach the goal? How convenient to use God as that way. And it's not like God's going to make a YouTube channel to try to strike you or defend themselves. Like, what are you doing? You know? So Rabbit is like a televangelist. Give me money and go to heaven. Yes. Give it to me. Give it to me. Wim, you're good. You're good. Look, I already got you up here. Shout out to Wim. Anyways, I'm just making fun. But in short, I don't think that God meant religion to be that. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's somebody is coming from like a spiritual and God fearing person too, because I do fear God. But anyways, so let me get back to the program. The church general handbook discourages. We read that part. Spring took a step back, and she took a step back for not for long. She started to claim that she was having dreams, and around 2.5 years ago, she bought my daughter Abby into it. Ben says Abby also claimed that she was having dreams, and she and her mother felt an urgency to stock up on emergency supplies. He said. Brooke Spring's brother, who lived in Provo, Utah, Lord have mercy, man, I've been to Provo a couple times, was also fascinated with Doomsday's teaching. He, Spring, and Abby spent hours on the phone every day. She started spending a significant amount of money on food prep. She was buying a lot of winter gear, even though we live in Arizona. Well, I wonder if she got that shit on sale. Let me stop. But I'm wondering, like, okay, nonsense. Is winter gear on sale in Arizona? Let me know. I call them televangelists, travel angelists, YouTube evangelists. Is winter? What is winter gear like in Arizona? It's got to be cheaper, right? And here is my ignorance in this topic, but I'm just thinking. She was buying tents. She was convinced that the saints would have to gather in the last days up in the mountains, and she was preparing for that, Ben says. Although Abby was interested in the second coming, Ben says none of his and Spring's four other kids were, especially Blaze. He is in no way a supporter of anything she believed. He is your typical teenager. All he wanted to do was hang out with his friends and be on his phone. Oh, man. Ben says he's on the football team and has worked so hard to be on the football team. They still have games left this season. There's no way gone. He would have gone all along with it. Oh my goodness. In April, Spring asked Ben if he could live apart. He moved out, but the family still had dinners and went to church together. He says his relationship with Spring was cordial and he moved back in with his wife at the beginning of October. So just this month they had moved back in together. That is interesting. Uh, hold up, hold up. What did you guys say? A rabbit said, no wonder she got the gear on sale. You ain't right. Taurus, I'm just wondering, like, bitch, I haven't seen any winter clothes here. It's 87. Oh my God. Oh man, I am jealous. 87 degrees today. So they don't sell winter gear. All right. I was just joking. I mean, they got to have sweaters. I don't know. Clearly not snowsuits or anything like that. Taurus. All right. See the shit that comes to my mind? This is why I get in trouble at church, okay? I'll be saying some stuff like this, and then the priest is looking at me like, go to confession. And I'm like, no, because I'm going to be the same tomorrow. Anyways, let me go. So, Braden's story. Braden grew up in is it Ammon? Grew up in Ammon and married Abby in June 2021. About 6 months later, she told Braden that she had a dream about the last days, and they ended up buying 2 years worth of storage food. of food storage, I was comfortable doing it because I think preparedness is something that we should all strive for. But over time, it started to get more and more, for lack of a better term, radical. It started to get more deep. And she connected with a bunch of different individuals with similar beliefs. Braden tells EastIdahoNews.com. That's an interview we'll watch here in a little bit. Latter day Saints are taught to have basic supply of food and water and some money and savings without going to extremes, so they can support themselves and those around them in cases of disasters or troubled times. Braden says his wife watched videos of pastors prophesying of the last days, and she was always speaking with their mom and uncle about the second coming. Earlier this year, she asked her husband if he would be willing to leave their home if necessary. Wow. So that's scary. My response to her was yes. If we were to be invaded by another country or our lives were in jeopardy, I would obviously not be in Phoenix in my apartment. I would leave, thinking that's what she meant by that. Braden says, but her beliefs continued to spiral down, and down to the point where on Monday morning she said, it's time to go. Okay, let me stop right there because, you know, yeah, food preparation is not like uncommon, right? Like, expect that. But we have a thing going on right now between, the two different countries, two different beliefs. A lot of it stems from years of war, religious beliefs, religious wars going on right now. So to me, like, what did it? What made them say today is the day we're going to leave? Was it this conflict right now that's going on the other side of the world? What was it that just, because I can understand people being so scared that they're like, we got to get out of here, right? We could get evaded. I mean, nothing is forever, right? Money is not forever. What is it? We can run out of things. Somebody could throw something over here on our side of the world, and then a lot of people could be gone. So I can understand where the anxiety can feed into this. But I also feel like there's something maybe even right about this, right? That we should be very much concerned, you know? Just saying. I like to have several extra ingredients for meals, but my husband doesn't, says Marcy. A lot of this is really building intensely right now. Right? Not, like, is this the right temperature for something like this right now? If you think about it, Julie Rowe is who told her to leave. Are you serious? Julie Rowe, the one that spoke about Chad Daybell on that documentary on Netflix? That one? Who was like, I had a feeling about Chad Daybell and I wasn't sure if he was the right guy and yada, yada, yada. That one? LDS will also tell you that they're the only ones going to heaven because they say they're the chosen ones. Come on. John Smith is their Jesus. Smith didn't raise the dead, heal the sick. Ooh, interesting, interesting, interesting. You see, and I knew something was, oh man, did the father not recognize that she was purchasing these items and doing these things? Well, I mean, I don't even think they had children together. Um, they play on folks' anxiety. Yeah, this is what it is. People play on anxiety. Now, I'm not saying that there's not a lot of stuff going out there, right? Beth says, shout out to Beth. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So Beth, as a member of the LDS, do you feel like do you believe in any of this stuff? I'm just curious. You let me know. And if you do, respectfully, I get it. But I feel like some of this is playing on our anxiety. Tia, you just shout out to Nate. He's got a great channel. According to the book, none shall know that. That's what I thought, Joe. I didn't think anybody would know the day. Even those that, you know, pass away, don't know when they're like some people, we just never know for everybody, right? So why are we, like, I guess my thing is that if you believe in the second coming, why are you in a hurry for the second coming if you don't even know the day that it's coming? Why are we in a hurry? Is that weird? It seems to be like a lot of paranoia, right? Whether it's realistic or not, some people are really believing it. I would agree, right? I would agree. Yeah, see, I deal with it in any other religions. No offense to anyone. No, I get it. But I'm saying if nobody knows when the second coming is, then why is everybody in a hurry to get to the second coming? Most of this is what the fundamentalists believe, not the mainstream LDS church members, says Lana. I agree, Lana. I mean, and this is what it sounds like. It sounds like it's like branches of something, right, Lana? It's not always the LDS church. Self-fulfilling prophecy, in my opinion, right? Like we want to get it right. Listen, if you live in the fear that like, I just don't like. I could tell you a lot of shit that scares me. I mean, we should all be prepared for stuff. Clearly, we should. But why are we trying to write the second coming when we don't even know when it is? Why are we living in this? I mean, this anxiety kills people, right? That's what it does. Talk about Heaven's Gate. The anxiety kills people. The wanting to be, the wanting to know, the wanting to get to a place. I think it kills people, right? So why are we trying to even go there? Oh, see, let me show you guys. I wasn't joking when I said that the website is still running. This is the website. Look at how I don't know, 90s it is. This is the website. And it is heavensgate.com. Hail Bob, Hail Pop brings closure. And by the way, it hasn't been updated since the tragedy. Okay? There you go. Ordered hard copies of the book. And by the way, the address is in Arizona. Okay. All of this is still up there. How a member of the kingdom of heaven might appear. Yeah. So this is still up there. I didn't have the time machine this. I literally typed it in and it came up. And it's on red alert. And I think it's been on red alert since the tragedy. For those that are curious, no, I mean, check it out. The only reason I ever checked it is I was listening to a podcast about it, and I didn't realize that the website was still up and running. Yeah, I know. I wonder if you ordered the book, will it be delivered? That's a good question. You know? Yep. See, and I believe this. God said, "No man, not even the angels in the heaven, know the day or nor the hour." So, how do people believe false prophets? Some cults make up new dates when their predictions are not accurate. Right? Just kidding. It wasn't on Hail Bob Day. Just kidding. It wasn't on this day. Right? And it's not like it's not to make fun, but it's a real thing. It's a real thing. So I don't know. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm just giving commentary to this. So, there's a quote where he says, "But her beliefs continued to spiral down, and to the point where on Monday morning she said it's time to go." He was at work when Abby called and told him he needed to come home immediately to take her to the hospital. He rushed to their apartment, and there was no medical emergency. Instead, he found their ring doorbell had been removed, and his wife was inside, frantically packing suitcases. The apartment was a mess. She had gone and purchased a bunch of hunting and utility camp gear from the sportsman's warehouse, and in utter shock, she told me that it's time for us to leave and that I needed to go with her, Braden recalls. I was just baffled. Abby said they had to get to the Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport immediately because they, along with their mom and brother, had flights booked for Boise, where her uncle was picking them up. He asked where they would go, and she said it couldn't tell them until they got to Idaho. Braden says he was confused and upset. I love her. She's the love of my life. And she comes in and says, "It's time to go, and I'm not coming back." It's one of those experiences where part of you is like, I can't let you go. I have to go with you, even if it makes no logical sense, because that's the one you love. She's everything I have, Braden says. But deep down inside of me, I knew that this couldn't be. The world was going to continue to keep spinning. I told her I just can't do it. I can't do it. Abby called her uncle Brooke, and he read scriptures to Braden, trying to convince him to catch the flight. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine that your wife is like frantic and you're on the phone and the uncle who's possibly also frantic, frantic, reading these scriptures about, all of this and what's going to happen and what they're going to do. Like, I cannot just imagine. He's probably like, what do I make here? What do I do here? He was basically telling me that I will receive a witness after the trial of my faith and to trust God, and that I'm part of His with them. And it's supposed to be the five of us, Braden says. Braden was emotional and went outside to his car. Spring and Blaze showed up. Abby loaded up her suitcase and they left for the airport. Braden calls his dad in Utah and asked for him to fly to Arizona so he wouldn't have to be alone. Braden says he texted Abby and tried to explain that their plans didn't make sense. She responded by saying it wasn't too late for him to catch the flight. He responded that he loved her. She texted, "I love you. We will be back in a few years, and if you're still around, I'll come find you." The texting stopped. Blaze is gone. Okay, so Blaze, 15-year-old Blaze, because I believe he's turning 16 in November, right? Nonsense. You had put the birthday there earlier. Blaze is gone. Ben was at work when Braden called and said, "Our worst nightmares have come true." I said, "What are you talking about?" He says, "They left. They're gone." And I said, Who left? Who's gone?" He said, "Abby, Blaze, and Spring." Ben recalls. Ben immediately called his wife, his son, wife, daughter, and Brooke, but nobody answered. On Tuesday, a judge in Arizona issued an emergency order demanding Blaze be returned immediately to his father, who is the temporary sole custody parent. "I'm very concerned about my son, that my son is in danger, and that his uncle could be the aggressor if things don't go the right way," Ben says. This is Blaze. Okay. He is 16 years old. Thank you. He'll be 17 on the 8th of November. So they were last seen driving this white Lexus GX 470 2004 with the dealer's tags. They were traveling in that. Blaze was abducted by his mother and uncle, who are Doomsday cult believers. His 23-year-old sister Abby went with them as well. Pictures of them are provided. Here they go. So before the group left, Brooke wrote a 2.5-page last will and testament letter to his kids, withdrew about $50,000 in cash, and divided his assets between his children, Ben says. In the letter provided to EastIdahoNews.com, Brooke wrote about his faith and beliefs in Jesus Christ. "If you're reading this right now, it means that I'm gone. I don't know where I'm going. I was not told. You will not see me for some time. How long, I do not know, but I will see you again," he wrote. Ben says the letter is very concerning and shows the seriousness of the situation. The group is living off the 50,000 plus around 4,000 Abby took with her. There has been no known activity on credit or bank accounts. What about cell phones? I don't know if they can track cell phones. This is really scary. Um, this is really scary. Let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah, it's okay. So Abby has her passport too. Okay. Hmm. Let's see. Yeah, didn't they live in Arizona for a while before moving? That's a good point. There's a large group of fundamentalists that live in Idaho, says Lana. Wow, this is just crazy. I would never fall for a brainwash. I would never fall for or be brainwashed by a cult. I'm skeptical and strong-willed. They seek out weakness and vulnerable people who need to fill some sort of hole in themselves. Very sad. Not if they're buying burner phones from Walmart, says Lana. Whew. It is a scary thought, right? He knew he would never see his family again, which is why he was forced to leave. It's a scary all around. Um, Scary all around. Hold up. Okay, so we have this much reading to go. Searching for answers. Ben arrived in Idaho on Tuesday and contacted Boise police, who confirmed to EastIdahoNews.com that a report was taken about Blaze's disappearance, but referred questions to the jurisdiction where he was reported missing, which is the Gilbert Police Department. And this story was published by Gilbert Police Response to Idaho EastIdahoNews.com with the statement. Now, here's the deal. Why didn't they call an Amber Alert on this young man? Because he is 16 and he was abducted. We don't, well, see, this Amber Alert shit really gets to me. And I did an interview about 2 years ago with Mark Klass, who pioneered the Amber Alert. He was the father of Polly Klass, who was killed. Polly Klass was abducted and killed, and she was one of the first kids on the internet that was put on the internet. Um, why didn't they use the Amber? I haven't seen an Amber Alert or anything like that? Uh, yeah, the uncle left that will, but not the kid. But I'm kind of wondering. I'm wondering, hold up. How come no Amber Alert for this kid? Right, you think that there would be an Amber Alert because we're thinking that he's been abducted. So Brooke left letters and basically a last will and testament to his children. He is in a very hard divorce himself, but took 50K with him and divided the rest of the assets. Um Never say never. Arizona, Idaho, Montana. Yeah, this is federal at this point, Pebbles. But why isn't there an Amber Alert? Because he just filed for emergency custody on Tuesday. Nikki, 1 second. Um. Oh man, Julie Rowe would send them to car. Okay, so Julie knows where they're at. Has she been questioned? For those that don't know, let me see if I could pull a picture of Julie Rowe. Okay, for those that don't know who Julie Rowe is, um, the lady's face. I'm not making fun of her, but I'm when she said that she was part of that fanatic group, this is the face. I should have used that face on that thumbnail. That's what I need to do. So if they were following this lady's leadership, I'm concerned. This is a picture of her. That was her former friend, Chad Daybell, right there. Look at them sitting right there. Okay? They're into that whole BS, but this picture is like, who in the who? Who why? Who why? I don't know. I mean, I just get I'm like, I don't know. This is somebody that, she seems like very, very much approachable. Um, she could probably sell me some Mary Kay. I don't know. I'll be like, yeah, sure, why not? But I just saw that interview and I was like, I don't know about this lady. She kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies. He left with his belief and his own choice, and she had joined custody at the time. Right, but if the judge ordered an emergency custody, why not just go ahead and ask for like an Amber Alert? This is federal at this time, you know? If they believe that this young man is in danger, I don't know. She's a controversial. It's the smirk. Did she? Okay, I'll have to check it out. Ooh, okay, I'll have to check it out, Nikki. I'll definitely have to check it out. Okay. Um, it's the smirk for me, yo. It's the smirk. Okay. Let's keep reading. Okay, so on Wednesday, October 25th, 2023, the Gilbert Police Department began investigating an alleged custodial interference involving 16-year-old Blaze. Okay. Um, Blaze is believed to have been taken out of Arizona by his mother, Spring, and the pair are believed to be traveling with two family members, the statement said. In working with Idaho law enforcement, Ben learned surveillance footage showed Blaze, Spring, and Abby did land at the Boise airport on Monday. They got into a white Lexus SUV with pink tow hooks on the front, driven by Brooke. A dealer plate was on the back of the vehicle, according to Ben. It's been outfitted off for it's been outfitted for off-roading, so it has big 33-inch tires and a lift. So would they have gone like somewhere very secluded? I mean, we think they're commuting still, so we don't think they're hunkering down in the mountains. Interesting. EastIdahoNews.com called Abby and Brooke Thursday, but the phones went straight to voicemail. Spring's phone appears to have been disconnected. Hours later, Ben received a credible information that the group used passports to enter to Canada. This is where Canada is coming in, which makes sense to Braden. So maybe their landing wasn't going to stop at Idaho. The stuff that she purchased at the sporting goods store was all heavy gear, tools, heavy gear, heavy wool socks, insulated boots, stuff of that nature. Braden says, I believe their purpose is to just try to wait this out. They're thinking events are going to be happening soon and they need to be away for safety. So they're leaving the US to head to Canada and they took their passports? I mean, so they're not even. Is it potentially that they're not even in this country anymore? I mean, I don't think Amber Alert would work now. No, Jinga, they haven't used anything. I don't think they've picked up anything as far as credit cards or anything like that. Border Patrol was involved. I mean, they crossed the border. You know, the victim is 17 years old, of age or younger, or proven mentally or physically ill, says. Okay, so it has been confirmed that an abduction has occurred. Okay, or the child has been taken by anybody, including but not limited to parent or custody or guardian. Parent and or guardian. The victim is 17 years old of age and or proven mental or physically disabled. So he's 16. But I mean, at this point, what are they going to do? Won't be issued if a custodial dispute is in place. Just thank you so much, Lana. See, every state has a different criteria for their Amber Alerts. Thank you. I, I don't know. I'm halfway behind, but I'm going to be. Oh, no worries. Welcome. Thank you for coming through, love. So we don't know. We don't know where if they cross at this point. I mean, it's not saying that. They're saying that they did. Like they had gear with them. Because it says right here that the EastIdahoNews.com called Abby and Brooke Thursday, but their phones went straight. That would have been yesterday, right? They went straight to voicemail. Spring's phone appeared to have been disconnected. Hours later, Ben received credible information that the group used passports to enter. Okay, so are they in Canada now? Which makes sense to Braden. The stuff that she purchased at the sporting goods store was all heavy gear, heavy wool socks. Okay, we read that part. Ben isn't sure how long they will stay in Idaho. He bought a one way ticket but has other children and a career back in Arizona. I have a full time job back home, but I'm just going day by day and trying to feel things out. I know Ben broke down during this interview with Nate. Although Ben and Braden worry about Spring, Abby and Brooke, they are most concerned about Blaze. They feel his mother told him that she checked him out of school and they're going on a trip for his birthday. Can you imagine lying to your child about going on a trip for your birthday and then come to find out you're being abducted? My hope is that they realize that's not what's going to happen. That's not what's going on. He can either play into it a little bit or figure out a point when they're vulnerable and escape. Then we can find him and work that direction. It's my prayers he can somehow get away. Ben adds, they're all good people. They're all wonderful people. But getting into these dark topics has really corrupted them in a real horrible way. But they're genuinely just loving, kind people. So, again, if anybody has information, you're asked to call the Gilbert Police at 480-503-6500, and they have a reference number which is 23-161023. Ah, this is like really, really sad. And all of this you can find on the East Idaho website. Okay? Let me see if I can share this with you guys. I don't know if you guys can see the article there. And thank you those that are coming in. Oh my God, DB just gifted 5 members. I didn't even see it now until. Thank you for gifting.
Why don't we start from the top then?
Let me stop right here. If you guys received a membership from DB, please drop a heart in the chat if you received a membership from DB. Thank you.
Tell me what you can.
Sure. So Monday afternoon at about 4:45 p.m. Local time in Arizona, I received a phone call from my son-in-law, and I answered the phone call, and he said, "Ben, our worst nightmares have come true." And I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "They've left. They're gone." And I said, "Who's left? Who's gone?" He said Abby, Blaze, and Spring. Abby is his wife, Spring is his wife, and Blaze is my child, who's 16. Left to go to Boise, Idaho on a flight from Phoenix Sky Harbor direct to Boise, and that Brooke Hale, who is my brother-in-law, my wife's brother, was waiting there to pick them up. I raced home. I met my son-in-law Braden at my house to get more details. He said that his wife Abby had asked him to come home early for lunch because she was not feeling well and needed to go to the doctor. So he came home at about 10:30 a.m. He had noticed the Ring doorbell on their apartment had been taken off, and he thought that was strange. So he knocked on the door, and Abby let him in. And she was in the process of packing luggage with all kinds of winter gear, survival gear, camouflage. And he asked her obviously what she was doing, and she said, "We need to go. We need to leave now." And she explained where they were going and that they wanted him to come, that Brooke had bought tickets for all of them, and that they needed to leave immediately. He resisted and said, I do not want to go. My daughter was emotional. Braden was emotional. They called Brooke. Brooke tried to persuade him, shared some dreams with him, shared some scriptures with him, told him he needed to be like Zoram, who followed Lehi and his family into the wilderness, and to just have faith. Braden felt very uncomfortable. He, in the moment, just was so shocked. He said that he needed to get out of there. He walked out of the apartment, went down the stairs, went and sat in his car that was parked in the apartment parking lot. He noticed that my wife was there in her car with Blaze in the front seat. As he sat in his car, he saw Abby come down with all the luggage. They put the luggage into the back of the car and they drove away. This all happened around 11 a.m. Arizona time.
So then Abby and Blaze are your two kids.
Abby's 24 and Blaze is 16.
Okay.
Yes, they both are my kids.
And their uncle told them to leave Arizona and come to Idaho.
My wife, Abby, and their uncle all believe in this rapture and this doomsday scenario that's about to happen according to.
He didn't this is interesting because he didn't really say, I don't remember reading rapture. And I don't know if that's like when I hear about the rapture, is that supposed to be different than like I guess I'm just getting this confused because I don't do they believe in the rapture? Because I thought that was like a separate type of belief. I could be wrong, but I don't know. And that's a great question about if they were traveling with, I mean, did they get all this gear into Canada or like out of the airport? What did they like? What do they do? I'm kind of curious. The revelation, right? So does I'm not an LDS, but is like LDS also very much rapture? Catholics talk about different raptures. Rapture is the end of times. As that's what I thought. It was like the end. The rapture is when Jesus does the saving the righteous, right? And isn't it supposed to be like all kinds of people that will be saved, and it's like they just disappear out of nowhere. Like people are just going to disappear, right? So my thing is, if that is the case, like why is everybody in a hurry to go somewhere for such rapture? I don't know. See, that's a great question, Marcy. I mean, when someone mentioned rapture, I think it's the book of Revelation. That's what I think. I think disappearance, you know, that uplift in the light moment, right? That's what I thought. Okay. See what I'm saying? Is like everybody has a different interpretation of what the rapture is. So this is when he says rapture, it kind of confuses me a little bit because I'm not really sure. Like, I didn't know if the LDS or fundamentalists necessarily, like, I guess it just depends on what branch, but if the rapture was part of it, I don't know.
The beliefs they have. And they three made the decision that now was the time to go gather. And Blaze's role in all of this, they believe he is something called a Davidic servant. So they felt like they need to protect him, and they needed to take him to this undisclosed location where he would receive his calling and understand his role in the second coming and the Savior's return to the earth. So that's how Blaze is involved in this. They see him as this Davidic servant that plays a significant role in the Savior's return.
And as far as these beliefs, Ben, as far as you know, I mean, has your wife been talking about this for, the past few weeks or months, or is this suddenly out of the blue, she starts saying this and off they go?
So back in 2015, my wife got involved pretty heavily with Julie Rowe. So much that she was asked to be a scribe for some of these revelations that Julie Rowe was receiving. There was some energy healings that took place. It concerned me a great deal. I expressed that to her, and we actually, I requested that we go in and talk to our ecclesiastical leader, a bishop, to talk about it. The bishop asked her, or essentially told her, she needed to stop if she wanted the marriage to survive. Spring stopped following Julie Rowe at that time, but I think she was still indoctrinated with a lot of what was taught and shared. My wife's always been fascinated with the end of days, the last times. She's recently been researching significantly an author by the name of Abraham Gileadi, who purports to understand the book of Isaiah. My wife brought my daughter into this about 2.5 years ago, and they started having dreams, and they started sharing dreams, and both felt like they had the gift to interpret dreams. They brought my brother-in-law into this about 1.5 years ago, when he was going through a pretty significant crisis in his own marriage, and he just has taken it and run with it. But yes, my wife has been involved in these types of things in one way or another for many years. She's always been a church attending, a temple worthy member of our church, and served in callings, but on the side, she's had this hobby of researching the second coming and signs of the times and the end of the world.
Okay, so when she took off, though, were you surprised that she took it this far, or was it kind of that's kind of along the path she was going?
When she was into the Julie Rowe stuff, she started spending significant amount of money on food prep. She was buying a lot of winter gear, even though we live in Arizona. She was buying tents. She was convinced that that the saints would have to gather in the last days up into the mountains, and she was preparing for that. I thought there was a possibility that she could eventually leave and take off with another group.
So I think Dad kind of had the feeling that something was going to happen here pretty soon. Uh, Stop it, Wim. The word rapture is nowhere in the Bible. You need to find it. Well, where is the word rapture? I saw. Thank you, nonsense. Send me some like scripture of where the 144,000 comes in out of the tribe of Israel, 12,000 of every tribe. Like, but where does the word That's a good question. Does the word rapture? Now, listen, that's not my area of expertise or education, but I do have a question: is who said that is this a man-made thing too? You kind of have to wonder. God promised after Noah he would never wipe out the earth again. So I'm very confusional, right? SW, look at SW saying confusional. That is a word, confusional. It's stuff like this that confuses me. So, all right. So here's my question, to everybody. And I'm not gonna play this whole interview. I'm gonna ask you guys to check out EastIdahoNews.com, and you can watch the full interview there. He also has a YouTube channel. But I want to ask this question: is like, Lana, when you have personalities like this, Julie Rowe has been quoted saying Blake is chosen by God, just found it. When you have personalities like this lady right here, or even like Chad Daybell, or stuff like that, it is in the Bible. Okay, but how isn't Revelation something different than Rapture? See, I just oh man, oh man. There are other texts as well. Okay, when someone disappears without a trace, it's said that they've been raptured, taken up by God. Okay, interesting. Okay, yes, the book of Revelation says that the world will end in fire. It says, no, Lord, the world ain't ending today. Well, I don't know. I don't know the time and I don't know the day. Okay, yeah, there's like a gazillion versions of the Bible. Y'all tell me which one's the right one because I've lost track. Okay, this is why I said I can't deal with that. You know, I can't. The rapture is raising the church into the heaven. Okay, I'll have to look it up. I'll have to look it up. Thank you, Nikki. But here's the question that I have. All right, when we have personalities like this as a society, and not that we're trying to dictate like who and what y'all should believe, but if somebody like this can call another person and tell them, listen, disappear, take, your kids, abduct them, do what you have to do. If you have a personality like that has that kind of power, what should we do as a society? Do we just let them be? Do we just like should they be watched a little bit different? How is this any different than say like I don't know, like a group of people that decide to abduct people, or destroy neighborhoods or villages or families? When do people step in? I know, I just got my new headset. They can just right, Wim, you tell them. Like, thank you. Um, Kay says, I grew up LDS, I don't remember any of this stuff. But no, Wim, like seriously. People take Daniel and Revelation prophecies as a rapture, but it's not mentioned. It is scary. But like, if you think about it, we give a lot of people like Jim Jones, okay, or ladies like Julie Rowe, Chad Daybell. I'm thinking of other, the Branch Davidians, okay. I'm thinking of other cults. What's another one? Scientology, Charles Manson. Thank you. We give people like this power. What do we do as a society? I mean, you can't dictate what people can or can't believe in, but they're abducting children. They're tricking their kids to say it's a birthday party or it's, we're doing a fun little outing. And then this is the situation. What do we do? Followers of Christ. I mean, there you go. How do we, what do we do as a society? Do we just kind of ignore it? What do we do? And like I said, other publications are talking about this. I mean, of course, I was hoping that Daily Mail always picks up what they seem as salacious because this is kind of given like, people want to definitely feel like this is going to get bigger. Okay, this is definitely giving Lori Dave, Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell type of situation. But the Daily Mail is picking it up. We have a lot. They're protected by the Constitution, Church of God. It's kind of, I mean, sad, but I also kind of wonder, Mr. Ben, what other signs did he have that this was going to happen? Like, what should we, if you have a family member in your family, say it's your husband, your spouse or whatever, or your wife, and maybe it's your child, and it's looking like they're picking up some ideology that's a little bit concerning, where do you step in? What intervention do you provide? Where do you go from here? Do you hire somebody to come and brainwash them again? Like, I mean, not brainwash them, but rescue them from this? What do you believe? They believe that this 17-year-old is supposed to have a big part of this. So obviously it's an extreme view, right? Because if he wanted to go, they wouldn't have to have lied to him. Well, and I don't know why, like they gave that lady a platform on that one movie. And I was a little concerned. It's all in the interpretation and sometimes it's wrong. Right. Right. No matter your choice of religious belief, you still must follow U.S. law, at least in the U.S. In intervention, the 144K is about the saved souls, and they say he saw a number that no man could count. Those will be saved too. Wow. Oh Lord. If they believe that the 17-year-old is Jesus, what does the mother think of herself? Right. So that's a great question. That's a great question. Send the exact scripture from the Bible, not what the man says, says Taurus. Look, just a thought of conversation. I wanted to talk about this and talk a little bit about it with you guys. But I don't know the answers to everything. But at the end of the day, this is still a missing young man. And to me, this is definitely he's missing. He's true crime. He needs help. And my hope is that he's doing okay and that he's able to fight whatever is happening. But I'm very concerned for his safety, and I'm concerned for the safety of all the people that are involved. Although they have a choice to stay missing, that's their choice. But as far as this young man, it's not his choice, right? So I'm gonna let you guys go because I gotta go tend to baby bunny. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. I might go live later, just depends on what I have. I have a lot going on today. But let me know your thoughts if you're watching the replay about the headphones. Do I sound okay? Let me know because I really, really, really try to find ones that were really gonna work out. All right, guys. I will see you guys on the. Y'all are still arguing about the Bible. Listen, I ain't gonna talk about the Bible. You guys have a great rest of your Friday, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.